Come in. Hi, Mr. Banks. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Have a seat. Okay, it's good to see you again. I'm glad that you can make it out.
Thank you.
How did you make it today?
I took the bus.
Okay, how was that?
It was a little crowded, but I can't complain.
Okay, how did you get the fare for that?
I just did a couple odd jobs like I usually do.
For your neighbors again?
Yes.
Okay, what did you end up doing for them?
I'm just fixed the toilet for my neighbor Brenda.
Okay. Now I understand that we did meet Friday, so I do want to have you in here to talk about how you felt with that process last Friday. I want to get a feel about what's going on in your community and in your household and everything, and I want to try to set some goals that we both can commit to, so we can kind of get you guys directed on a better path. You know, get the kids straight, get your finances straight, and everything like that. And most important, to make sure that you understand and know that you have a big role in the goals that we're going to set. Okay.
Okay.
So I know that your neighbors in the area that you live in, they're kind of in the same predicament as your family. So how are they paying you guys?
Well, they pay us when they can.
Okay.
Normally they give us as much as they can, and we
Right.
we completely understand.
Yeah.
So we never ask for more than what we feel that they can give us.
Okay, I understand that, and I know that probably can be a little difficult because you need to provide food and shelter for your family, and then you really don't want to take advantage of your neighbors when they're in the same predicament.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want you to know, since we're talking about your neighbors and we're going to be talking about your wife, that this is a family process. I want everybody involved as much as possible. And everything that you share with me is confidential unless you say any information that'll be harmful to yourself or to others. Is that clear?
Yes, I understand.
Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, awesome. So moving forward, has anything changed since we met last Friday?
No.
Okay, nothing with income. Are you expecting any income in the upcoming 30 days, anything like that?
No, not unless somebody asks me to do something for them.
I understand that. Okay, so I wanted to go. I'm pulling out the notes that we went over last Friday. It was a bit of a back and forth. That was a very long process. So how did you feel about that process? Any concerns or suggestions?
It was very frustrating. Um, when I was standing in a line, I wish there would have been a sign that says this is for this specific thing and this is for this other specific thing.
Okay,
It was just very confusing.
right.
It was just very confusing and frustrating. And by the time we got help, we was just so over it. We was just like, I don't want to do this no more.
Okay,
It's just so much work trying to get the help that you need.
right.
That can be very discouraging sometimes.
I understand. I understand. And I know besides the back and forth, I noticed that you and your brother-in-law, when we got there, you guys were kind of just standing still in the middle of the floor or whatnot. And when I suggested you to go to the young lady at the table to see that she can help you, you guys kind of objected to that and was saying that, that was the food stamp girl. And I wanted to know, did you guys feel kind of nervous or you felt comfortable with just being familiar with her as the food stamp girl, that you didn't feel like she could assist you with anything else?
Well, in the past, when people try to help us, uh, they only say, well, we do X, Y, and Z, so we can't really help you with that. So I
Okay.
just looked at the food stamp girl as knowing the food stamp girl thing.
Okay.
Not knowing, the unemployed, other things of that nature.
Okay. So I understand that, and my suggestions on that, to always make sure that you kind of got to be assertive a little bit. Even though one person can be familiarized with just handling food stamps, they may know some other information, and they may be able to better assist you or at least point you in the right direction of where you can go. Because when we asked her, she did lead us to where we were supposed to go, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I know that the workers, you talked to Mr. Smith, I believe. Um, so when you were over there, it was kind of seeming like, you were shaking your head yes to that you understood the questions. And then, after you went to the job training line, I asked you, well, were you going to have a follow up? Are they going to call you? And you really didn't know what the process was. So Please let me know if there's anything that you don't understand, and I'll do my best to assist you until you do. So, how did you feel about the information that you got? Did you understand everything that was happening and was being told to you?
I feel like it was a lot of information at one time,
Yeah.
and he was just going so fast
Right.
because the lines were just so long. I feel
Right.
like, all of us are here for a reason to get help, and if you just rushing through me, I'm not going to be able to fully understand and get the help that I need because that's just very discouraging. It makes me not want to come back.
I can imagine because applying for benefits can be a little discouraging, especially if you don't know, where to go, what the information is saying, or how did you feel about your worker?
Um, my worker was okay once you came to help,
Okay.
uh, and you explained some things.
Okay. Now, with the job training, I know we left out of there. On your own since Friday, have you reached out to any employers or been trying to find any work?
No, I haven't because I was coming here because I felt like y'all would be better able to help me. I feel like what I've been trying to do and trying to work, it hasn't been working. So it's time to, clear the whole slate and just, rebuild from there.
Okay. And what are you trying to rebuild exactly?
My finances,
Okay.
having a stable home for my family,
Right.
uh, some education.
Okay.
That would be really nice. Um, that's all I have right now.
Okay. Well, let's start there. Speaking of your education, would you mind sharing me what's the highest grade level you completed?
Okay, so I never got past the third grade.
Okay.
Um, much like I'm doing now, I had to take care of my family because my mother died when I was younger. And so once my mother died, I had to help my father
Okay.
take care of the household because I was the oldest.
Okay. Out of how many children?
It's about 6 or 7 of us.
6 or 7. Could you tell me why you don't know the exact number?
Well, the reason I say 6 or 7 was because like seven, like one of them had died
Mm-hmm.
at an early age,
Mm-hmm.
so we only provided for them for a little while.
Okay.
So it was so that's why.
Okay, so besides your siblings and your family and whatnot, do you have any other social systems, being your family, your in-laws, your wife and your kids? Do you associate with anybody outside of your neighbors as well?
No, not really. We really just kind of stay to ourselves. Our community is like a big family.
Okay, and so I know that you built your trailer yourself. Did you have
Yes.
any help? Did your brother-in-law help you with that or anything like that?
Yeah, my brother-in-law is much like myself. He works very well with his hands,
Mm-hmm.
so we worked on it together to get it done quicker.
Okay, and speaking of working with your hands, I know that you have a background in gardening, and you had some previous work experience with the shipyard, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
And I had familiarized myself with the shipyard. It was kind of mechanic work, working on the ships and stuff like that. So, how did you come to acquire that skill set?
For me, when I learned the best way to teach me is to have me do it hands on.
Okay.
So if you just like put a whole bunch of words on the paper
Right.
and say this is how you build something,
Right.
I'm not gonna understand that.
Okay.
But if I can see you do it
Right.
and you let me do it, I'm gonna know how to do it.
Okay. Now, did you enjoy this type of work, or was it just to kind of put food on the table? Did they pay you good?
Um, the shipyard paid me okay. I mean, we were able to not need help from my in-laws.
Okay.
We still struggled. The kids didn't have everything they wanted, but
Right.
they certainly had everything they needed. Working at the shipyard wasn't my favorite, but working like doing gardening and stuff, that was kind of like my place of peace. So
Okay.
I enjoyed that a lot more.
Now, do you see yourself wanting to do gardening as more of a career, or maybe as a hobby? Maybe we can look into some resources to find jobs within working in a restaurant so that you're still dealing with food, or what's your suggestions on that?
I feel like Working gardening wise would be great.
Okay.
Um, I always had this wild dream of just like owning my own gardening company.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we can write that down, having our own garden. And I know most employers, they want some type of educational background. And I wanted to give you some resources as far as housing. Have you ever heard of TANF?
No.
Okay, well, what TANF is, it gives you a certain amount a month, and is cash value. And I know you do receive food stamps. Do you receive Medicaid or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we're gonna set you up with applying for all of these services and whatnot. But going back to the TANF program, there's a work readiness program for unemployed fathers, and they also have like the VIEW program, and it's a work first program. So meaning that their main focus is to find you employment, but they also have an educational program which is up to 12 months of education. And would you be interested in receiving maybe your high school diploma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that is something that we can make sure that we reach out to. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is really family based. So, do you think that your wife would be interested in this as well?
Yes.
Okay, so we can definitely get her on board, make sure that we find at least some employment that you would like, but if not, at least some type of employment so that we can kind of get you guys making a decent amount to maybe move out into another area that's more suitable for you and your family. How does looking into other areas to live sound?
That sounds good as well.
Okay.
Um, so with this TANF, would my daughter, would she have to do it on her own? The one who has the baby?
Okay, now your daughter is 18, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So your daughter, she can go to your local Department of Social Services, but she can also come in with us. I have a group session with all of you guys and make sure that we get on the right track to fill out this paperwork. But because she is legally an adult, she would have to file for her own case, and her daughter will be on her case, and she can even apply for her own SNAP benefits, the food stamps.
Okay.
And she can also go and apply for WIC for her baby. And so we'll discuss all of those details in a moment. So I wanted to also ask you, were you guys interested in family counseling of any kind?
Mm, well, I don't think there's nothing wrong with us.
Oh well, no, no, I'm sorry, and didn't mean to make you feel like something had to be wrong with you to have counseling. But sometimes we offer certain counseling for life skills. So that means you can get counseling for us that better manage your finances at your home. Parenting skills, or moving from one neighborhood to another may be stressful, or just to overall how to function and from moves from place to place, things like that.
Well, I think it might be good for the kids.
Okay, and no problem with that as well. So a little bit a background about the kids. Are they enrolled in school?
Yes, they are.
And I know that you have 6 children. What are the ages?
Okay, so we have the oldest is 18.
Okay.
Then we have twins. They're 14.
Okay.
And we have a 10-year-old.
Hmm.
Then we have a 7-year-old.
All right. And the last?
She's about 6.
Okay, about 6 years old.
Mhm.
And your granddaughter, is she a year yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
She's about I want to say she was born in November, so she's 11 months.
Okay. Almost close. All right. All right. So some of the resources that I was telling you about, we definitely want to focus on that job training. And I know we didn't get a lot accomplished at that, but making sure that we can apply to some jobs at least weekly, and that's going to be a big part of that. The VIEW program or either the unemployment for fathers program, because you have to have some type of record to let them know that you are pursuing a job, where you're pursuing, did you talk to the manager and stuff like that. And I know it can be overwhelming, but it's going to be documentation so that we can try to help you as best as we can, but you also have to be helping us to help you. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense, but how will I get to all these places?
Okay, well, for the most part right now, we're gonna set you up with receiving a Paytel cell phone,
Mhm.
and that's provided through the government, and they give you 350 minutes a month. So we know that sometimes family may can't afford a landline of their own, but it was specifically used for families that didn't have that needed a way to contact employers to find jobs. So that'll be your main focus, at least to call them. So if you have a phone book or a way to your local library or whatever to just look up these phone numbers, then you'll have that phone to kind of put yourself out there, like, well, I did call this place or whatnot. And then we also have a way to provide you with the bus ticket. Say you had an interview. So, we'll provide you with the bus tickets to get to the interview, to get back home, and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. So that was the Paytel cell phone that I'll give you the application for, and also here's a packet for your housing. So I wanted to let you know that apply to as many housing as you can qualify for. Look around to private owned landlords. Because they may work out something with you and your family that they may not charge you as much as uh, as other landlords would, or a company realtor or something like that. And I wanted you to be mindful that income-based Section 8 apartments, you can apply, but the waiting list may be long. It may be a year or two to even get into that apartment, but I definitely encourage you to apply. And then you can also go to RRHA, which is Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority, where they have local communities that you can get in, maybe a little bit faster if you go to one of the, um, I don't know how to word it, but RHA, they have a community of developments up under their branch, whether you can go to the specific apartment complex. Okay, any questions so far? I know this is a lot of information that I'm throwing at you.
So just to clarify, you're gonna give me an application so that I can get a phone.
Yes,
Um, we're gonna work on getting new housing.
yes,
Um, there's different type of housing, so I could be in like an apartment,
yes.
or we could find somebody who like has a house and they would give us the house for cheaper, or we could pay cheaper rent.
Yes, so your income-based apartments, that's going to go off of your income, as it says. And you have some places where you may have zero to little rent because you don't have any income right now, and they will give you a utility check. So that goes towards your light bill, and sometimes you may not even have a water bill. Now, for the housing, when you apply for Section 8, you get a voucher where you can move to an apartment, or maybe some landlords accept that money, and it could be a house. And the other section that I was telling you about, to look into private owned realtors, they do have housing, and they are usually a little cheaper, with charging the rent because it's their property.
Okay.
And then we also talked about the job referrals, where you apply to, that you keep track of that, and you have to report, how many jobs and who you reached out to during the week. And we're also going to get you guys signed up for the school training. Now, this is just to increase on the skills that you already have, your basic reading, writing, math skills like that, and to kind of get you ready for your GED. And And that I think that's the most important. Well, most important is your work because we got to have you in stable in your home, and secondary will be your education. Because I know sometimes the employers they really look for that. They stress, well, did you complete your high school diploma or whatnot? Not
That's
everywhere
another
will
reason
stress you.
why I haven't been applying because it always says high school or equivalent,
Right,
and I don't have either.
right. And I understand that can be discouraging sometimes, a lot of times. But we definitely want to make sure that you and your wife get on the right track, and as well as your daughter. Um, and another thing I wanted to point out to you is I know that you guys didn't have a TV, and we're gonna set you up with the phone. And I was reading in your case that you didn't know about the program for the unemployed fathers. You had heard it, word of mouth by your neighbors, was it?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, there's a place called Caritas, and they provide low-income families with furniture. So I want to give you a referral to them to, see if they had TV or if you guys needed beds for the kids or anything like that. To most definitely check them out.
Okay.
Um, how are you guys getting around just by the bus or?
Sometimes by the bus, or sometimes my mother-in-law will be nice enough and she'll let us use the car.
Okay.
Um, but usually we'll just take the bus.
Okay. How's your relationship with your mother-in-law?
Um, it's okay.
Okay.
Um, she didn't really want me to marry my wife, which is her daughter. She didn't think I was good enough.
Right.
But besides that, we're cordial with each other.
Okay, are you guys living together or she
It's
lives
like
near?
this is her house, and then this is our house. So our house is like basically in front of it, and then if you
Okay.
go down the pathway, you'll get to her house.
Oh, so pretty close,
Mhm.
basically side by side.
Mhm.
Okay, does your mother-in-law help with the kids in any way or any
Um,
financial support?
she babysits when our daughter can't do it, or like, and all of us have to be at our jobs.
Mhm,
So like before my daughter was pregnant,
mhm.
all three of us, we did some type of just a little bit of work, and so she would watch all the kids for us.
Okay.
And then,
Do you have to pay her anything?
no, she usually does it out of the kindness of her heart.
Okay, that's really nice of her. Can you describe to me if you have a support system? Because it really does seem like your mother-in-law would be inside of that support system.
I mean, besides each other and besides people in our community who are going through the similar things,
Mhm.
uh, that's about it. So that's why I said maybe going to that counseling, would really help us, because then we wouldn't have as much like uh, as many arguments within our family that we do, because it always seems like we're always stressed about money or something like that. And they get tired of hearing, well, we understand we don't have money. We get tired of telling each other about, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that.
Okay, so I wanted to make sure that we go back over that because I know when I initially said the counseling, you only wanted to do it for the kids. So are you kind of more interested in doing it with your wife and yourself
Yes.
now? Okay, and I think that'd be very beneficial because I know sometimes when families are going through a financial hardship and it can kind of cause tension and a lot of friction between the spouses and whatnot, and then that energy can go on to your children. So we are definitely moving in the right path. We're trying to find you guys employment, housing, and everything. And hopefully that will resolve some of that tension and kind of bring you guys closer together to be able to communicate more efficiently. So I'm definitely glad that you decided to do that. Do you guys have Medicaid?
Not that I know
Okay. Are you familiar with Medicaid?
of. It's basically like health insurance, right?
Exactly, yes. Okay, and I'm asking you that because most counseling agencies they do accept Medicaid, and they accept it for the kids. So they can speak with you and your wife separately or together, and speak with the kids separately. And they also provide transportation. So say if you guys had a doctor's appointment, you call ahead of time, and they can get you to that doctor's appointment. Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
All right. So, Mr. Banks, that is our time. I just want to go over a recap of our goals. So, we're going to go with the family counseling, applying for benefits. So, that'll be the TANF and the unemployment program for fathers, the Medicaid, the cell phones, housing, and your daughter is going to apply for her own benefits. And we'll meet back here in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be November 21st at 2 o'clock. And I wanted to make sure that I give you these bus passes. And I do encourage you to see if your wife can come so we can kind of recap on what we went over today, if that's okay with her and everything, and just to kind of get this family process started.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in today.